Hello, I'm Greg. Welcome to my channel, Midnight Oil Software, and episode 4 of my Highland Panic Devlog video series. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to actually let you watch me work, and I'm going to fix some bugs and add some features to my Highland Panic game. So I'm using Hack and Plan for my planning. And the first thing I want to do is I want to address this bug. This bug that was reported. The quit button doesn't work on the login screen. So to show you what I'm talking about, I'm going to go back into Unity and hit play. And when it comes up to the login dialog, I'm going to click the quit button here. And you can see I'm clicking it and it doesn't do anything. Now if I log in and I click it, you see that it takes me out of the game. So basically I need to implement that quit button in the login screen. So if we go and look at the login dialog, you can see that I've got a login button, but I'm not handling any kind of a quit button. And if we go back and we look at the lobby UI and look at our buttons, you can see that I have a quit button sound and a quit button. Now there's nothing assigned here in this prefab, but if I was to go out and expand my hierarchy here in the title scene and go down to the lobby UI here, you can see that the quit button is assigned, and that button is actually coming from this widgets container. It's right there. That is the quit button, and you can see it here in the scene view up there. And these are all the widgets that I've got. So what we need to do is we need to add a reference to that quit button to our login dialog, and then we need to subscribe to the click event on it and then handle quitting the game. So if we go and look again at our lobby UI, I'm going to click the prefab here. If we look at the code for that, you see here's our quit button sound and here's our quit button. When this is enabled, we subscribe to the handle to the on-click event for the quit button, and we call this handle quit game click. And then when we destroy, we remove our listeners. So if we go and look at this handle create game click, it's kind of interesting. The function to actually quit the game. Let's see, that is playing a quit. Oh, that's to create. I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, if you look at this one, you can see it's playing a quit sound, but then it's calling quit game on the login dialog. So it's kind of ironic that the code to quit the game is actually in the login dialog, but the login dialog isn't ever using it. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and add a serialized field to our buttons. So let's see, we got our login button, and we're going to add a quit button. And then we're going to add under here our asset references for our sounds. We're going to add one for our quit sound. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these extra spaces here. Don't need them. All right, now in start, actually on enable is where we're subscribing to our listeners. So here I'm going to add another listener. I'm going to say quit button dot on click dot add listener. Actually, I wonder if I can just say login. Yeah, I think I can just call quit game since it's already on this class. And then we're going to remove that listener. So I'm going to copy and paste this. And sometimes I forget to rename this and I just add another listener, which is not what I want to do. All right, so now we've got the code in place to handle that. Now we just have to go back into the inspector, assign that button to the serialized field, and assign a quit sound as well. So let's jump back out into the Unity editor, let it recompile, take a sip of water. So I want to use special click 44. So let's go up here to our login dialog, scroll down, we've got our quit sound, so we want it, are they in here? Audio, nope, must be in common, audio, UI, this one. So quit sound, oh, it's the same one that we're using there. Let me go and double click that again. Lobby UI. Yes, it is the same one. All right. And then we want to actually assign a quit button. So from our widgets container, we'll drag that in there. Now, if we did everything right, if I hit play, wait for the login dialog to come up. Just expand this out a little bit so I can see that screen. And there we go. It quit. And no errors in the console. So we're looking good. I think what I'm going to want to do now is go ahead and commit those changes. So I always like to save my project. And I am using Git extensions. It's just a nice little GUI for interacting with Git. You could use a command line. You could use Tortoise Git. There's a number of things you can use. I'm just going to use Git extensions. And I'm in the right branch. And so all I have to do is click commit, and it will show all the changes that I've made. I've been messing around with some other stuff in there. But one thing I want to do is I want to hop back to my hacking plan, and I want to take this number 130. So remember that number. Go back into Git extensions, and I'm going to say HNP 130. So that's hacking plan 130. Enable quit button on login dialog. And I'm going to go ahead and push that. And those changes are now in. If we go back to Hack and Plan and we open this up, you can see I've got this GitLab comment, HNP 130, enable quit button on login dialog. If I click that, it will take me to that commit, and it will show me all the changes. It's thinking about it right now, but there we go. It's got all the changes that I made in that commit. Some of them aren't even related to the quit button. I'm going to move this over to test, and after I'm satisfied that it's working, I'm just going to move it into complete it. The next thing I want to work on is I want to tweak the card colors a little bit. So I've already made some changes to the card colors based on some feedback that I got. I'm going to do this, I'm going to switch over to my gameplay scene, because in here I've got this card image provider which has all my card colors. And what I did is I increased the saturation and the brightness on this yellow. I left the red about the same, and I decreased the saturation and toned down this blue and green. One of the complaints that I've gotten is that the yellow is just a little bit too bright, and it can be difficult to read the numbers on the card. So one thing I want to do is go and look at my prefabs and look at the card UI prefab. And so right now I've got this green there. But if I go back and I look at my card image provider and I copy that color, go back into there, and here on my background, if I just paste, can't do that, huh? Well, that stinks. Well, I think what I'd like to do is just make this the yellow color and then tweak it down. The easy way I can do that is just go ahead and play the game, pause it, and then go play with those colors. Let's go back to my title screen, hit play, take a sip of water. Go ahead and log in, create a game, just do a one-player game, hit start. And we'll let those go. And good, I got a yellow card right there. I'm going to hit pause. And so if I come down here and I expand my game canvas and my viewport and my player one panel and then my trading piles, it's in the second pile. If I go down to cards, this is the card right here. And you can see the card color is yellow. The other thing, I'm looking at this, and I want to increase, I think, the size of that. Of course, that looks terrible zoomed in like that, doesn't it? I want to increase the size of that overlay. So if we look at our card, on the card front, in addition to our background color, which I think I'm going to just that's a little bit too much. I think that looks better. I still want to fix the numbers. So if we go look at the numbers, I'm going to pick both of them. I'm going to scroll down, and I've got outline here. I'm going to increase the thickness. So let me just go ahead and I think that looks pretty good. So of course none of these changes are going to be saved. So let's remember these values. 0.28 for the thickness. I'm going to go up to the background here, and I'm going to copy that. And hopefully that'll work. So let's go ahead and stop this. Go back into our gameplay scene. Open up our card image provider. And why won't it let me do that? Okay, let me paste this at the beginning. Take that, paste, get rid of that. All right, so that worked. And it was 0.28 as I recall. So we need to go into our prefabs, card UI, and then down for the numbers. We want to go down to the thickness. Oh, it is 0.28. Did it save that? Let's run it and see what happens. Go back into our title screen. Odin is complaining about something. Oh no, don't do it. All right, so let's log in. I'm actually going to close this and I'm going to play maximized so I can see it better. By the way, I think this looks much better on the phone and on the iPad. Oh yeah, I think that's much, much better. Cool, I can definitely live with that. All right, so let's go ahead and save our project. Open up Get Extensions and click Commit. Tweak card colors. And then we want H&P dash, and what is that number? Go back to Hack and Plan 132. So 132. Go ahead and stage these. And I don't know why it always thinks that that font asset changed. How could those be all the changes? Where is the color change? Clear that. Let me play this again. That doesn't look changed, does it? Go back into our gameplay scene. Card image provider. It did not save that change. All right. And I'm just going to, for sanity's purpose, I'm going to drag a card UI into the scene. Well, first I want to, so let me go down to the background color. Open that up. Paste that in. And then we actually drag this card into the game canvas. All right, and that outline does look pretty good. I could play around with it a little bit and see. So, numbers. How about 0.35? Yeah. So what I can do here is I can apply the changes. What did I change in the ret transform? I'm not going to do that. So 0.35. Let's go ahead and delete this. Open up this. And select them. And it looks like it's already saved. It's interesting that those Text Mesh Pro changes save. All right, fine. Go out to our title screen and just play it one time just to make sure that it works. Log in, create game. Start. Yeah. I'm happy with that. Okay, so now go ahead and quit. Save project. And it was 132. So let's go into Git extensions. It might even remember my previous comment, and it did. So let's go ahead and stage all that. Commit and push. Nice. And go back out into Hack and Plan. There's my code comment. Drag that into testing. All right. Another request that I had. So I've had some people mention, I want to add a countdown task here. And I want to create another task. Upgrade Unity to latest 2022 LTS version. That's a low priority bug. All right, move that up here. So what I want to do is one of the pieces of feedback that I got is that when the round starts, it wasn't clear when the round started. And apparently in the physical version, tabletop version of Dutch Blitz, which this game is sort of patterned after, when you initially deal out the cards that get dealt to the trading piles are dealt face down. And then when the round actually starts, they flip over. You flip them over. When someone will yell, go, and then everybody flips over those cards and you can start playing. So right now these are all face up, and it's unclear the round started. And these guys will start playing, and you're like, wait a minute, I know the round started. So the other thing is, when these cards were being dealt, you saw each one being put down. And one of the pieces of feedback that I got is you really shouldn't see what cards are underneath of this top card. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal these all face down in these. And then when the round starts, I'm going to flip them all over face up. And then the other task that I might make is adding a countdown too to let you know when the round's starting. Kind of like a ready, set, go kind of thing. Okay, so I took a little bit of a break and I came back and I implemented this story here to deal the trading pile and panic cards face down. And I actually didn't have my recording set up correctly, so I'm going to show you what I did off screen. So I've already made the change and I've committed it to source control. So let me show you what I did. So when we're dealing cards, this is the deal cards function in the player panel UI. You know, we're going to deal to the trading piles. We're going to deal to the 10 cards to the panic pile. And when we're done, we call this player ready server RPC to let them know, okay, we're done dealing, you can start the round. So what I'm doing in the game manager is when we get that player ready server RPC, if all the players are ready, instead of just setting this to playing, I'm going to call this function here, flip starting cards client RPC. And that's going to loop through all of the player panels and call their flip cards to start round. So if we go and look at that, you can see that I'm looping through all the trading piles and I'm going to get the top card from each one because there should only be one, and I'm going to flip it. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the cards in the panic pile and I'm going to flip them. So they're initially dealt face down, and the way that happens is up here in deal cards. When we're drawing the card from the draw pile, I have this parameter flip, and I'm passing false. So I'm drawing it without flipping it, and then I'm just going to place it straight down on the pile as it was, face down. And then when we're all done and we get this flip cards to start round, then we actually go and flip them over face up. But in order to get this to work, I had to also add a yield delay here. Because what's happening is even though I'm telling the server, hey, we're ready, this dealing of the card, this deal to pile, is actually animating the card to the destination pile over a quarter of a second. And what was happening is I was calling this flip cards to start turn. Where is that? Did I collapse it? This one. When I'm calling this flip cards to start round, it was only seeing 9 cards in my panic pile because the 10th card was still in the process of being animated there. So I added a little bit of a delay just to make sure that that card made it there before I started trying to flip them. So I'll demonstrate how that works. Come back here into Unity. And go ahead and click play. And then we're going to add 3 bots and start a game. So log in, create game, add bot, and add bot. Start. See, they're all dealt face down, and then they flip over. And then, of course, I can start playing. So I did make one little tweak after I committed that before I recorded this little snippet. So I'm going to go ahead and save my project and go into Git extensions. And I'm going to commit. And really, if you want to see the change I made, I just renamed. I had 2 separate functions. I had a flip starting cards and then a flip cards to start round. And what I basically did is I just got rid of the one, and I just have the one public method that I called directly from the game manager. So nothing major there. So HNP, I think that was 132. Let me go back and look. No, 131. So HNP 131. Tweaked flip cards to start round. And I'll go ahead and push that. And there we go. So that's already in testing, so I don't need to do anything with that. So I have two more features I want to implement. I think I'm going to save them for the next video. I'm going to add a countdown at the beginning of the round. So before I flip them over, instead of just doing that yield return to delay there, I'm going to actually start another coroutine that's going to display a countdown. And then when that's done, I'm going to flip the cards. And then I want to add a pause feature. One of the pieces of feedback I got was someone's playing the game, their kids need something. They want to be able to pause the game, deal with whatever, and then come back and resume the game. Right now, there's no way to do that, and so if you're playing against bots, they'll just keep playing, and you put your phone down, and you'll end up losing. So, but I think the request was actually to add that when you're only playing against bots, but I think I might just go ahead and implement that even in multiplayer, and it will just show game pause by so-and-so, you know, and it'll show up on everybody's screen until they unpause the game. But I think that's going to be it for this video. So, why do I not see my camera? So I switched over to my camera view, and for some reason that particular camera input isn't working. So, technical glitch solved here. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you find these devlogs interesting. And if you do me a favor and click the like and subscribe button. Help me get to that 1,000 subs. I'd really be grateful. And be sure to jump over to my Steam page and wish list the game. I will put a link in the description. And if you're on an iPhone or Android, I'll put links to how you can join the beta program for those as well. So thanks so much for watching, and good luck on your game development journey.